Thank you so much for choosing to listen to Building Better Businesses with Catalyst Consulting. I'm Kristen Dees, the founder of Catalyst Consulting, a business consulting agency that is passionate about helping small businesses thrive. The goal of this podcast is to connect entrepreneurs with experts in a variety of industries that support small business owners in order to provide you with helpful tips, resources, and some entrepreneurship inspiration. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Building Better Businesses with Catalyst Consulting. My guest today is Lorena Arnold, and I am pretty excited to have her here. We're talking about some coaching stuff, some money mindset things. That's kind of her superpower. So I'm pretty excited to have you here.
Good. Thank you, Kristen, for inviting me to this podcast. I'm looking forward to share a lot of information as much as I can.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect. Tell us a little bit about you as a human being. Where are you from? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Okay, I'm originally from Mexico City. So as you could hear, I have some accent. I've been living on the United States for a long time, and the accent doesn't go away.
Doesn't want to leave.
It's already part of my brand. I still have mother, sisters, brothers, uncles, and everybody in Mexico City. So I go back and forth a lot. I am married. I have two grown children. My oldest son just he'd been married for a couple of years, and I have a a granddaughter, Lucy. So now I'm having fun being a grandma.
Oh.
My hobbies, our hobbies, my husband and I are big adventure world travelers. So we like to travel all over the world. We are the type of person that we book our tickets and that's it. We just figure out later on where to go. We figure a tour. We figure Airbnbs later. We just book a ticket, wherever you go. And sometimes we are backpackers. It's easy, it's amazing when you could get out of the airport in 5 minutes or less without having to wait for luggages.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a big hobby. I like organic food. I canning, that is canning. I do homemade bread. I do homemade butter, homemade yogurt. But my husband, no. When I'm in the kitchen, sometimes I use it as a meditation, or I am using it as a brainstorming session. I can't solve a problem. A client is making me crazy. I go to the kitchen, cook up a storm, solve the problem, and then I come back to my clients.
That's great. It's your brainstorm space.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I traveled in Mexico for about a year. It's been 5 or so years now, and I go regularly. But I started in Mexico City, and I didn't really have any Spanish at that point in time. I was like, I'll be fine. I was not fine. Mexico City was very intimidating to me. It's one of those places that I would love to go back to now that I've traveled a lot more and my Spanish is better. It's still not like I'm not conversational, but it's such a crazy cool city though. There's so huge, there's so much culture and so many great places to see, but it was such a scary place for me because it was the first place I went in Mexico and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It could be
great.
intimidating. I said Mexico City is a mix between Los Angeles and New York. So you have to be ready to a big metropolitan area.
Yes. Yeah, and there was definitely like in the outer parts of Mexico, like I travel a lot. I love the beach and the ocean, so I travel a lot along the coastline when I go usually. And there's more it's a slower pace. It's there's usually more people who speak English, especially if it's like a touristy area, so I can get by with the Spanish that I have. But yeah, the like big city, it's like the second or third largest city in the world, I think, isn't it?
Mexico City is the second
largest. Yeah, it's massive. And so, I mean, the things you learn, you travel a lot, so you get it.
Some people will tell me, oh, I've been to Mexico. Where can come? No, you have not been to
Mexico. That's not, it's not the same. It's beautiful. And I love all of those parts of Mexico too. But yeah, Mexico City, that was pretty intense. Anyway, so share a fun fact about you, maybe something random that not a lot of people know about you.
A random fact about me. Well, let me use we. A random fact. We have an RV. And we also big RVers.
Okay.
Place the better. So we love the tiny houses concept, the cabin concept, or the RV concept. And the joke is that because we couldn't travel with our pets, some hotels don't allow pets. We bought the RV so we could travel with our pet, our dog Daisy. Yes. We have taken it to Toronto and to Canada and to Mexico, to a lot of places on the RV is just for her. So like, we consider that a fun fact. And we sometimes, Daisy, it's time to go to your RV. Let's go.
That's cute. What kind of dog is it?
It's an Australian Shepherd mixed with Beagle. So
Oh,
she howls, but she has the body of an Australian Shepherd.
that's so cute. I love when mixes turn out like that too. They're just like so silly but adorable.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you do for work? How do you help business owners and entrepreneurs? What's your specialty?
For the past 8 years, I'm a money breakthrough business coach. Now, a lot of people hear money and they think I'm a financial planner, an advisor, CPA, an accountant. I am not. I am more into the money mindset about money, help women create a brand and a business they really love and take actions that are aligned with their mindset and their money. So I take a professional or entrepreneur woman, either a solopreneur or brick and mortar, or they have employees. I analyze where are their money. I have nothing to do with your revenue or your marketing, but a lot of what you're doing with your money, how much money are you keeping, are you aligned with your money, and help them establish a branding that will support that mission with money.
No, I like that. I think it's a really good way to line it up because they're connected. And I think a lot of people, like I've recently started doing a lot of research and study into manifestation, the laws of the universe, like those kinds of things. And I think a lot of people miss the action stuff. And that's like like creating the result that you want with intentional action. Something that like clicked with me, and I don't know what it was, just the phrasing on it was slightly different. So I was listening to this gal talk about she's an incredibly talented, she coaches women on scaling their businesses like to 7 figures. That's kind of her thing, but it's based on manifestation, the universal laws, etc. And she was like, everything is cause and effect, and the effect that you're having now is from what you caused 3 months ago or 6 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know why the phrasing on that, like, just, yeah, I was like, oh, because I mean, we say results, and if you want different results, you have to do different things.
Yeah.
So that, and then the other thing that really stuck out for me was she said, if you want to have different results, you have to be different. Like you have to be a different version of yourself, because yeah, who you are now is getting you the results that you're getting now. And if you want different results, you have to be a different version. I was like, holy cow. Like, so anyway, I digress. I think it's you can't just talk about the money. Like it's the other, how do I create something that gets me the results that I want to have?
Yeah.
And I think we miss that. Yeah.
A little bit different, and I may be aligned with this person that you hear. I do also use mantras and meditations and visualizations, because my belief is, want it or no, how you do money is how you do everything. Every decision that you make with your money, it needs to come with a body reaction. When you make a decision, you are excited, you're afraid, you want to talk with people. If there is no reaction with your body, there is no manifestation about money. So especially when you're an entrepreneur, how you do money is how you do everything. So your money's decision is to be aligned with your end goal. It's not just about revenue. It's not just about your assets and liabilities and how you handle a payroll. And make sure your money is aligned. So I put my clients, for them to refer, I put them to date money. If money was a guy, Mr. Money last name, well, what would you be telling him? He's not just here to pay payroll, to pay your suppliers, or to pay your marketing. He's here to stay a little bit longer with you, and that comes with manifesting money and understanding your money and your branding.
That's a very good way to look at it. I like that, because I think there's a lot of conversation more recently about money mindset and the relationship with money, and particularly women in our relationship with money. Because I know, like for myself, like I have a ton of like weird money trauma and like things that I've had to do a lot of work, and I'm still working on to like unravel all of those like concepts that have been like put in there. So I like that. That's a great perspective for how to look at it. How'd you come up with that?
How did I?
Like, yeah, where'd you come up with that?
My background is computer science and information systems.
Ah.
I'm very more into systemized things. The simple, the better. You create batch, rinse, and repeat. So that's what I came came from.
Mm-hmm.
I got my real estate license because I just did not fit on the corporate world because I did not like to be told what to do. I created my business.
Yes.
And real estate, I thought, it was 2008. I was buying foreclosures and short sales per. I was also participating on the big guru platforms presenting real estate opportunities. So I was on the platforms. And when I was talking with investment, I realized women were not responding. The men did. So I found a need to talk to the woman about money. And that's where everything came out, because like you said, we women have a different perspective about money. We have our little, I call them monkeys, the little voice in your mind, the little monkey that is telling you you are not worth it, you are not confident. I'm working with a client right now. Her biggest roadblock with that money is that she has the idea that she cannot earn more than her father figure. So she has to fight that little voice saying, I am worth it. So that's where everything come out, realizing that there was a need. Women need to have a better relationship with money. It is time for us to have more control about money. Of course, you have your accountant, your CPA that will tell you your profit and loss, and a money breakthrough business coach will tell you is everything aligned. There is 8 different types of money. Are you a hero about money? Then you align your business with that. Are you innocent about money? Then you're talking about dreams and the ideas about money. Are you an alchemist about money? Then you're talking about creating and reaching the masses. So that's what Money Breakthrough Business Coach does.
Mm-hmm. It's so important. Like yeah, it's so important. Like I can't tell you, I mean, well, too, because you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs, but the conversations and just people being like, I just don't, we have so many things that are tied into how we identify as women, and we're taught to feel like we're not supposed to have money, and like having money is the root of all evil, and feeling guilty about charging what we should charge for things. Like I work with so many people on, I mean, men and women, but like particularly women on charging what they should charge for their services, like especially service-based entrepreneurs. But yeah, it's hard. Like there's so many things that are just tied into that, and our self-worth and how we identify value in ourselves. So it's like a lot, so much. So good for you, because that is a lot to help people with. So I think it's important.
Hey, thanks for listening so far. I hope you've been enjoying this episode of Building Better Businesses. I just wanted to stop and share about our Business Foundations course that is now live on the Catalyst Consulting website. This course goes over Business Planning 101, so it goes over a template for business planning as well as setting up your foundational habits and practices as a business owner. So we'll talk through some time management strategy, defining your version of success, and then also wrap up your business plan for you. If you want to check it out, hop over to bit.ly/pillar1. That's bit.ly/pillar-1. That link will be available for you in the show notes as well.
What are the top 3 things, or like 3 things that entrepreneurs could do to help get them on the right path? Like if they feel like they're really struggling with money, or they have money mindset things that they want to work through, like what are 3 things you think they need to know that would help them start that journey?
Okay, the one thing that we're going to work on as is money mindset. Understand what is the past influencing you on your money decisions. So I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so I'm not going to fill you with guilt and shame about the past, but sometimes you understand. Like this client I mentioned, her father was very successful. She's very successful, but she couldn't pass her father's decision. So the first thing is what I call money mastery. M is going to be what understanding what money is for you and have some mindset. The second step that we're going to do is understanding your business and your branding to make sure your business is aligned with you, your branding is aligned with you. Identify what kind of money you are. Like I said, there are 8 different types. Along with that, I have some tools to help them assess their money archetype and their branding archetype. Branding is not just about colors and logos and the white brand on your website. What it has to do with everything is to be aligned, the message that you're portraying. And the third step I work with my clients is taking action. So as a coach, they have me as an accountability coach and let them know, you told me you're going to do this, you are not doing it. And if they're not doing it, I know there is a breakthrough or the blockage, they need to deal with that.
Okay. I think for me, that was one of the things that really started to is figuring out how you like the money stuff that you were raised with and how that affected you. Like that was a really big thing for me too, I started doing a lot of work on myself for like relationships and like just healing some of my like childhood trauma. And that was like one of the things that had started to kind of come up too as part of that conversation is like, how was I raised and like what was my relationship with money when I was a kid and like shaping all of the other decisions and things that I did down the road. I highly recommend just in general, like doing some childhood trauma work, even if you don't feel like you have like, the traditional versions of trauma, it affects you in ways that you can't even comprehend as an adult. So
the hidden messages you have grown up with messages, because you just mentioned trauma and it doesn't have to be a catastrophic, but divorce is a money trauma that really will impact what you have in your money. Having parents that fight over money, that'll be trauma. To probably be like I was, a very rebellious teenager. My parents were fighting and I would just run away. I thought the problem was solved. But now as an adult, I realized that watching my parents fight about money impact me a lot. So now in my own business, I had to say, I'm okay. I am worth it. I don't have to repeat my parents' history.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is like kind of like you were saying, the runaway, like running away from the stuff, is identifying some of those like self-sabotage behaviors too, where we're like getting in our own way on purpose, but we don't know because it's all like subconscious programming stuff. So those things are super huge. That's been something that I've been working a lot more on, pretty much in the last year specifically, and trying to pay attention to like, what are the cycles? And like you were mentioning too, the story that you keep putting yourself in because it feels comfortable, because it's what you know. So you're doing your patterns and your stories and self-sabotage just over and over again. And it's like, okay, but like, how do I get out of this? And it's, you have to figure out what it is that you're doing first, because we don't know.
Breakthrough. So
yeah.
We dig a little bit more. We see, we go into your story. I'm not going to fix it. I am also on the belief if you cannot, we're going to work on something that you can't change, and we're going to let go of things that you cannot change. You cannot change your parents, you cannot change the past, but from now on, as you are aware and about situation, you're going to align the situation and you're going to take action about that. You cannot go to the past.
I like that. Yeah. We're breaking through. We're not going backwards.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening so far. I just wanted to share one of my favorite payroll processing and HR systems that I like to use. Gusto.com, Gusto, is one of my favorite payroll processing systems in particular, but also they have a ton of great HR support add-ons that you can get as well, especially as your business is evolving. They can help you create employee handbooks, hiring and onboarding processes. And one of my favorite features is that they will actually file all of your payroll taxes for you. So that's one less thing that you have to worry about. They'll take out taxes every time you process payroll, and then they'll send them to the places that they need to go when they need to get there. So one less thing to worry about as a small business owner, since most of us wear a million hats. Gusto is one of my go-tos. If you're interested in that, if you use my link, you'll get a $100 Visa gift card. The link for that is gusto.com, Gusto.com /D like D's /Kristen, Kristin 7202. And that link will also be in the show notes for you. But again, can't rave enough. It's one of my favorite systems that I use to run my business.
So when people are looking to work with someone like you specifically, as far as like money mindset, breakthrough, like that kind of coaching stuff, how do they know that you know what you're talking about? Or what questions could they ask someone? Because I think there are a lot of, the coaching industry is very, very saturated and very unregulated. So there's a lot of people who say that they can do things, but like, how do they know when they're coming? Because I feel like, especially with money, like something like this, where someone's giving you money to help them with these things. Does that make sense? Like, it's one of my biggest things is, how do you know that somebody knows what they're actually talking about before you start giving them money?
Regarding looking for a coach, or regarding if they're an ideal client for me?
If someone's looking for a coach, so if somebody wanted to work with somebody like you or you, what can they ask? How do they? Yeah.
And like any professional, if somebody refers you to a dentist, you go and interview them. And you pick the one, funny if it makes sense, you pick the one that your gut tells you you're right. So you see your body is going to decide because you're going to have a gut reaction. Oh, I really like that guy. So looking for a money breakthrough coach is the same. Interview many. Also have the idea that you're going to talk with your CPA or your accountant or your tax expert because we work on collaboration with them. Not going to change the rules on what they're doing. I just want to make sure that my client is aligned. So when you interview me as a money breakthrough business coach, I will try to figure out where are you at, what are you trying to get. And usually my client has a specific sentence that they said. Oh, I have worked with a business coach. Or I have worked with a marketing coach. I am working with my CPA. And nothing has changed since. And they tell me something needs to change. It gotta be a better way. So that's what when I came in, and the better way is to understand your money mindset, have a branding and a business that is highly profitable, and take action without that. I'm not going to see your website, your color. Say I'm going to see you. And sometimes I see you face to face because when we do a visualization or a mantra, or I give you an assignment, I see your body reaction. So I know what you're struggling and I know where to take you to a money breakthrough.
Okay. That makes sense. I think, yeah, interviewing people, a lot of people talk about that because I ask everybody this question too, is interview multiple people and trust your guts. Like, don't let someone bully you into working with them or make you feel bad about not spending money, because that happens all the time too. I'm sure you've worked with clients that are like, yeah, this person told me I had to spend $10,000 with them. And if I don't, my business is never going to succeed. But here I am. So talk to people, trust your gut. Also, I think like one thing too is like I always wait for at least 24 or 48 hours before I say yes to something too, like so that I can be out of that space and process what's happening and like check in with my intuition, and like then I'm not like in the moment too. I do that with a lot of stuff, but like specifically things like this where I'm like, if it feels good, that's great, but I like to be able to think about it away from the situation before being like, yeah, this is a good
advice. When it's a quick decision, you could do it like you said, but when it's a big financial decision, I said, let me consult with my pillow. That means I need to sleep it over, think about it, and then I make a decision. If there is a consultant or a business that is really pushy, I don't like pushy people. If they don't give me the right to really align, meditate about it, and I do the pros and cons, they're not aligned with me. It's because I'm not going to work with something that they're just pushing me to do something.
Yeah. I was just talking about this with somebody the other day too. I was saying that I've done so much work on boundaries and being able to hold boundaries and say no without justifying. Like, I don't have to justify to you why I'm saying no, period. And so like, that's one thing, like if somebody pushes me in that kind of way, I'm like, I'm done. We're not talking. Because I don't have to tell you why I'm saying no, like, so that you can try and overcome my objections or whatever it is. So that's like it's almost a reverse trigger for me now, where I'm like, I'm super in tune to that because I will not let myself get pushed into something like that. So if somebody doesn't respect that, to your point of just being like, yeah, take your time, you process this how you need to, pros and cons, we can have another meeting if you want to talk about more questions, like, that just doesn't feel like a safe space to me to be able to like learn and grow and try things, to have somebody that's like pushing me like that. So I like it. Lorena.
Hey, thanks for listening so far. I just wanted to stop and share one of my go-to CRM resources, which stands for Client Relationship Manager or Customer. Less Annoying CRM, I think their name was intentionally chosen, it has been my favorite that I've been using for a while. There's lots of other great CRMs out there. I have some other ones that I refer to, but it's the one that I'm using and I like the most just because it allows for different customization options and a little bit more flexibility. It's a little bit more manual and doesn't have automated pipelines necessarily, but that's one of the things I actually like about it. So depending on what you're looking for in your CRM, Less Annoying CRM is a great one to try. If you use my link to sign up for Less Annoying CRM, you get an entire month for free on top of their already free 1-month trial. So you get 2 months for free if you use my link. I think that's plenty of time to test something out and see if it's going to work for you. They have great tutorials and guides to get you through setting up your account as well. And their customer support has always been helpful when I've needed to ask questions. The link for that is bit.ly/catalyst LACRM. And that link will also be in the show notes.
So As an entrepreneur and business owner yourself, what advice would you give fellow business owners when it comes to running their own businesses?
Okay, I'm going to give them advice. Go back to the beginning. Find out exactly why are you starting that business? Because sometimes we get involved into business. We have clients, and even though we are entrepreneurs, we fall into the rat race or just working for another transaction, paying the bill, another transaction. So go back to the beginning constantly. Your mission is not to make money, but you are here with a mission to provide a service to somebody and to provide for your family. So if you constantly go back to the beginning, then you get out of the rat race of just doing more transactions. You get your time back, you get your money back, and you are really on purpose, mission and purpose in your business.
Mm-hmm. I like that because it's one of those things too that people a lot of times, if they've never managed a business or been like leader in like whatever their traditional jobs were, sometimes and that's also people who have been people managers do this too, but it just seems to be sometimes more common, is leaving someone else's job and then creating a job for yourself instead of like creating a business.
Right.
So it's so easy, especially when you're a solopreneur and you're having to wear all the hats and do all the things, and like, but giving yourself the time to like come out of the business and be like, what, like you said, why am I doing this? Like, what am I trying to get to? I just created a job for myself instead of like, because I've had to work through that. Yeah. Do you have any resources or systems or things that you use that you wish you had known about at the beginning of your journey as an entrepreneur?
When I started my journey, I just want to inspire women and take the courage and confidence to take inspired action. And that was my message constantly. Oh, I want to talk with professional entrepreneur women. The tool that I didn't use and now that I use is that manifesting and money mastery. So that's what I did. At the beginning, I became another transactional, just like any entrepreneur. The next client, the next networking event, the next stage I could talk because I need client. The tool that I use to, and you mentioned a couple of, is block my time. Get control of my time first, and to make sure regarding boundaries. I don't take any clients because my clients need to align with me. She's not just another number or another revenue for me. I need to make sure I'm making a difference to that person as well. Because you could just pay me. If you don't get the result, for me, it doesn't feel good. So get control of your time, get control of your mindset about money, and start providing value, not just another revenue.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's basically what I help people with too, is that like taking control of the other stuff, like the scheduling, creating structure and systems and processes, and making it easier for you to do all of the things, especially if you're doing them all yourself still. But yeah, I like to call it calendar strategy instead of time management, because I feel like time management sounds bad. But calendar strategy is being intentional about where you're spending your time, why you're spending your time doing those things, and then maintaining the boundaries of the time that you've set aside for whatever the thing is. Because we're our own worst enemies sometimes when it comes to boundaries. It's like, I say I'm going to do this thing at 9 o'clock in the morning every day, then I have to actually make myself do it. Yeah, no, that's great. I like that. So how can we best support you? What are you working on? Can we spread the word for you about anything? What do you got?
I'm working on 2 big projects for this year, in addition to still working with my clients. My first project is TEDx. So I've been preparing to present on TEDx on next April. So if you're familiar, it takes about 3 or 6 months, depending on the chapter, to prepare you. So I'm going to be on the TEDx Cherry Creek chapter here in Denver next spring for me to reach more audience. So if you ever see me speaking on my social media, you will support me greatly if you come and see me, tell me your opinion, if it inspires you to do something. The other project that I'm doing is everything that I teach now, I'm putting them on a book called, of course, title may change, but my first, something needs to change. How we take you from scarcity to a thriving abundant lifestyle. So it's it's the story about my 3 of my precious clients, including myself, where they, what tools I give them, what lifestyle changes they have to do to start driving an abundant lifestyle. And then at the end will always be an invitation to come and reach me if you want the same results. So it'll be my TEDx speaker. So if you know any stages It's not necessary for professional entrepreneur women. If you guys, corporate or associations that want an inspirational person to talk about the mindset about money, a better relationship about money, I will greatly would like to hear about that. And my book is, I started just the process, so I'm giving myself 1 year from beginning to publish. My book should be ready.
Nice. That's exciting. That's on my bucket list to do too, is write. Well, actually both of those things, TEDx and a book. Those are on my list too. That's awesome. That's congratulations. That's very exciting. And then how do people find you? I know you've got a website, right? It's just your name, lorenaarnold.com. Is that right?
Arnold.com. I'm also on Facebook. So I have 2 sites on Facebook, 2 pages, the Money Breakthrough Business Coach and the Woman Investment Group. So you could Google my name. I am there. I also have a YouTube called Women, Time and Money. So you just search and everything. Of course, we're in the Denver area and I'm a queen of networking. So if you go to a networking event, I'm probably there too.
That's great. I love networking. It's one of my favorite things. Very cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate your insight and advice, and I'm sure my listener folks will too. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I do just make me think of another word I would like to share with your audience. Very hard for my clients sometimes to get, and we work very carefully on that. Delegate. I show them how to delegate. We get an idea on how much their hourly rate. I don't encourage them to charge by the hour, but for that, you probably hear it. Don't do the things that cost $15 an hour, or you could delegate. Wear your CFO hat. You are the business owner. Delegate the rest.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge one. I love it. Perfect. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And I'm sure we will be in touch again in the future.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Kristen, for being here as well. You have a wonderful day and stay in touch.
Thanks so much for listening today. This was a great episode, and I'm sure you will appreciate the tips and insights from today. If you want to connect further with our guests, you can find the contact information, social media links, etc., any of the freebies in the show notes from today's episode. Please show some love to our guests and like, follow, and subscribe their content if you connected with them. And also don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe Building Better Businesses with Catalyst Consulting. Also, if you drop a juicy review, that's always cool too.